What is up, everybody, and welcome back to a special episode of Spectator Mode Podcast with myself, Keith D. Mitchell, and my little frustrated friend over here, Karl May Smart, because I made a mistake. But we're back. Special podcast won't be very long because we don't want to dwell on the topics here. Obviously, two of the big things that happened this week was PlayStation Network and Helldivers 2, and of course, the recent news of Xbox canning 4 different development studios. So more game layoffs, more companies going bye-bye. But let's get to Helldivers 2 because we had talked about this and I made a mistake. So we're doing this again real quick. Last Friday, Sony had said, hey, look, we're going to enforce this PSN requirement for Helldivers 2 for people playing the game on PC, which is a very popular game, or at least was a very popular game due to the fact that Steam is available pretty much worldwide, and everybody who had access to Steam was playing the game, was doing massive numbers, was making a lot of money for Sony. And then Sony decided to go back and finally try to enforce the requirement that was there at the beginning of the game. But because of technical issues, they didn't enforce it until like 3 months later. Try to enforce it. But the problem is trying to enforce it posed a lot of issues because people who have access to Steam don't have access to PlayStation Network, because PlayStation Network is only available, 69, 70 countries around the world?
Something like that.
It's not very
it's a very small base.
Yeah, it's not very big. And this caused a lot of issues over the weekend. I didn't expect to wake up and hear this news and then go, oh, well, this is not good. So we went from the game being amazing, doing well on Steam, to eventually being negative on Steam. People review bombed the hell out of that game.
Now it's back up to mixed reviews on Steam because people have been counting this as a win when really they're not. They're just falling for corporate BS.
It's not a win because if you pay attention to what's happening, they're just waiting for them to roll out more countries for PlayStation Network. Which again, as we talked before, I don't think it would have been.
It's not even that though. It's not even that. They're not waiting to roll out the PlayStation Network to other countries. They're waiting until the heat dies down.
Oh, it won't die.
It is. It's already dying. That's the thing. Like the amount of people that have come out and gone, this is a win on social media and on YouTube. Like so many other channels came out with, oh my god, this is a win. This is a great day for democracy. Blah blah blah. Those people need to learn how to speak corporate. For one, because all this is Sony have gone, we hear you. We're not going to do it yet.
That's
the day is coming, and it's going to come by stealth, because this time they've already informed everybody of their intention to do this. That big notice that caused all the kerfuffle to start with is their notice of this is going to happen. Now that everybody knows it's going to happen eventually, they're going to sneak this in by stealth. They're going to turn around one day and just go, you know what? Flick, you need a PlayStation Network account. Oh, but you didn't tell us. No, we told you all the way back then. And they even said it in their post.
I really think they're going to add more. I think they're going to add more countries than go, hey.
There are some countries that are actually opposed to such services. So
there's a lot of crazy stuff that are stinking in there. Yeah.
There's a lot of legal framework that is locked up in adding PSN to other countries. But I'll even take it. Like I've got the notice from Friday up on the screen, and the one line that everybody needs to be concerned about is, "We'll keep you updated on future plans."
Yeah, that's the part I don't like. And
that's
people need to keep in mind that this Sony doesn't. Okay, let me back up, because I really don't want to dwell on this because I want to get to Xbox. But as Karl said, a lot of people are counting this as a win, but there's also people counting this as being, see, this is what happens when PlayStation brings their games to the PC. And I'm like, guys, this has nothing to do with this. No, it's not a day one thing with bringing PlayStation 5 games to the PC. Has nothing to do with this. This has everything to do with PlayStation wanting to have access to your account, seeing how many people are playing their games online, and not telling us exactly what they're using these numbers for. That is exactly what it's for. They're not being transparent, and they're not going to. But they also told us, hey, what is it? Ghost of Tsushima coming out soon. And You don't need PSN for the single player mode, but you will need it for the Legends mode, which is a multiplayer
Mhm.
thing. So games as a service, they want your information. They want to see what's going on. Now they did say it was because we want to stop the griefers. I mean, you can
Oh,
stop the griefers
bull.
not working with. You can work with Steam and
Yeah.
stop the griefers. Come
Yeah,
on now.
Arrowhead have had the ability to stop the griefers from day one. This is just trying to pass it off to Sony, get them to use their automated systems, which most people don't like anyway because their automated systems are busted to do the griefing thing. It's all about your data and it's all about your numbers, man. Like Sony wants that sweet metadata just that everybody's clamoring for these days. And they also want that monthly engagement number.
Oh yeah.
They want that player based number because they want to go out on advertisements and go, Sony has X amount of new subscribers because we've put in Helldivers.
They want to brag. They want to brag. That's all they want to do. But guys, this is not a win. This is a band-aid. No. Please keep an eye on Sony. Do not trust this right now. I mean, yes, I'm glad you guys can go back and play the game, but just watch what they're doing.
That's the biggest problem is that so many people have fallen for the corporate talk. Is that they're going back, they're rebuying the game after doing a refund, or they're reinstalling the game and starting to play again, or they've gone and taken their negative review off Steam. No, you need to leave that there because the one thing that hasn't changed, and this is another part that nobody is talking about, is that country list. That country list of people who don't have access via PSN.
That list is huge.
That list is massive. And guess what? It hasn't changed. It's not going to change because Sony knows that at some point they're going to flick the switch and put that PSN requirement back in. I'm sorry, this is not a win. This is a smokescreen. The Helldivers players have been had at this point. You've been scammed at this point. And if you're going back in and you're playing the game and you're rebuying the game and going, oh, it's great, it's good, I get to play my Helldivers again, you just showed that you don't give a crap about every country that doesn't have access to PSN.
And that's the big issue that I have. These people are talking about, hey, it's not a big deal. And it's like, it is. Maybe just because I'm not affected doesn't mean I don't have an issue with everybody else being screwed over. I can have my best buddy. I can have Karl playing Helldivers with me. And all of a sudden, oh, he doesn't have PSN, so now he can't play anymore. So
yeah,
there goes that.
Yeah,
keep an eye on it.
It's even just some of the getting access to PSN. It isn't just a 2-minute thing like everybody's been saying. Some access to PSN is restricted to you have to buy the console in order to sign up.
Yeah, I saw that. That's terrible.
That's not good either. So this is Sony basically. Yes, they did bend the knee and give players what they want, but the thing is, they know they're going to get away with this at some point. They're going to win eventually, and I think at this point, everybody who is saying that this is a win for Helldivers players, it's not. It's a smokescreen. You've been had, and shame on you for going back and playing this game at this point.
Speaking of being had, so let's talk about the main thing. We don't have a lot of time on this show today, but again, this is just a quick hey, this is what's going on. So wake up this morning and we get a nice dump of information about, hey, look, Microsoft Xbox decided to close down 4 studios. Arcane, Austin, which is responsible for Redfall, Tango Gameworks, which is one of my favorite studios. You know, Evil Within was one of my favorite series. Ask anybody, I love that series to death. Ghostwire Tokyo was okay. And then Hi-Fi Rush, one of the biggest IPs to come out of that studio in the Xbox camp because Xbox owned it. Alpha Dog Studios, which also helped with Redfall. It actually was another studio called Human Head Studios, which closed and formed Alpha Dog Studios. I think back in late 2029, early 2020. A lot of people don't know that. And then Roundhouse Studios, which is actually merging with ZeniMax Online Studios. But
so essentially 3 closures and a merger.
3 closures. But the thing here is the fact that these studios were doing fine before Xbox came along. and then like years, 10 years. I think each one of these studios are up for 10 years. I mean, even though they all didn't do as successfully as everybody else thinks they did, the fact that they were around for this time and then they get acquired by Xbox, what, 2 years, 2.5 years, and then hey, you're gone.
You're gone. Well, like we can't really talk on behalf of Microsoft or any of the studios, but I think a big part of it is our current economic situation worldwide.
Oh, there's a couple things. There's definitely a couple
No,
things.
like there are reasons why this would happen. Studios are usually closed down. Either they are not profitable, so basically anyone who is involved in Redfall would cop that.
And I know
Redfall wasn't a high selling game or a high engagement game.
It wasn't.
So obviously that would be a big point in their closure.
Let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest. Let's just not waste the time and just say it. The big dog in here is Tango Gameworks.
Yeah,
they have had multiple successful games, high-five rushes on top of Metacritic and OpenCritic. Everybody was talking about this game. Brand new IP.
Just because it's on top of Metacritic and OpenCritic doesn't mean it is a financial success.
Well, what I want to get around to is it's the fact that this, again, was not only a new IP, but it was a brand new creative IP that came out of nowhere. It was like, hey, this new ideas can work. Hey, there was Redfall and it sucked. Okay. But
Hi-Fi Rush, new great idea. It came out, great game.
Came out of nowhere, great game. Everybody loved it. People couldn't stop talking about it. Xbox was like, this is one of our best games. It's so good. We're not going to close down Tango Gameworks. We're behind this still 100%. This game is an example of how we can do great stuff. And gone. And it's I when I talked about this, I wrote another article, and it's kind of interesting about this because I got really frustrated about this because. It's not the fact that I feel that Xbox is failing gamers. It's just the fact that we're constantly seeing these layoffs. Now, to go back real quick to what you said, there's something a lot of people need to understand about this. There's Xbox and then there's Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft is one of the wealthiest companies in the world. By the time we're talking, they've already made more than enough money back. But the thing is, Xbox is only a small part of Microsoft. Microsoft rich, yes.
And each division is responsible for a certain amount of budget and also profitability.
Right.
That's the other thing. Just because Microsoft itself is a big multinational company, multi-billions of dollars in revenue, doesn't mean that Xbox has access to that money, nor does it mean that it has like the ability to constantly lose money.
Right.
And that's been the big thing with Sony as well, is that the PlayStation division has been a loss leader for many years.
But I think it's a little different.
But Sony makes enough money that they're like, okay, cool. If we lose a little bit on the PlayStation side, we don't mind.
I think though a little different than for PlayStation because PlayStation or Sony really counts on PlayStation. Versus Xbox doesn't, or Microsoft doesn't really count on Xbox. They've got so many things out there. They just like, whatever. Yeah. But it doesn't excuse, bringing over so many studios and going, okay, by the way, I mean, it wasn't Xbox money that allowed them to buy these companies. No. It was Microsoft's money. Yeah. And now they're like, goodbye. I think a lot of it.
But at the same time, you got to remember, when were they acquiring a lot of this stuff? Pre-pandemic or during the pandemic?
Wasn't it after the pandemic?
No, not a lot of it.
I think it was around towards the end of the pandemic. It acquired Bethesda.
Oh, but the Bethesda, but like ZeniMax.
ZeniMax is the parent company. Well, let me make two things, and then I'll let you go because I just want to say these. I just want to say these because I don't think a lot of people are really paying attention to why I'm frustrated here, and. It's not because
you're pissed off because you love one of the games so much, and you love it. You want more, and you're pissed off that you lose one.
No, it happens all the time, but it's not even that. And it's not because I'm wearing an Xbox shirt. I like Xbox. I do. I'm not going to say I don't like Xbox, but just seeing them like try to do good things, and then it's like one step forward, and then like a bazillion steps backwards. Like you're doing great stuff, fantastic. oh, you did this. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And a lot of people need to understand, and it hasn't been talked about enough, but this is because Xbox hasn't been as profitable as I think it is, because there haven't been as profitable as the higher ups of X or Microsoft want. I think this is an investor thing. You aren't making enough money. You need to show us you're making money. These four studios, what are they doing? What are they doing? But that also is a problem. That's the problem now, because again, Tango Gameworks is now gone. Okay, but it gave you a good game. So what about Ninja Theory? What about Double Fine? What about Machine Gun Games? What happens to them? Are they safe now?
No.
It sends a signal that nobody is safe in this company, and that's a problem. The second thing is, and this is the thing that I don't think many people thought about. Tango Gameworks was a Japanese company. Microsoft has been saying for decades they want their foothold in Japan. Did you even think about that? There goes their foothold. Gone.
No. I'm seeing it from a very different perspective. No, this is not because it's a Japanese company.
Okay, well, that's their foothold. That's the Japanese studio. And also that also shows, hey, Microsoft got Xbox got a Japanese studio, and look what they did to it. Can they be trusted? I mean, no company we
can trust.
Any company can be trusted, but the issue has always been Microsoft has been an uphill battle, which I keep saying Xbox and Microsoft. Xbox has always had an uphill battle trying to get a foothold in Japan.
They're never going to get a foothold in Japan.
They're never going to. And this is
Sony and Nintendo. Well, then maybe they probably did the right thing. You ever thought of that?
No, I don't think that was.
They're giving up. They're giving up on trying to get a foothold in Japan because they know that they can't get a foothold in there because of Nintendo and Sony.
I don't know. There's a couple reasons why I have an issue with that, but I don't have enough time to talk about that. And also creative freedom. So what does that say? You did it again. I'll go back to Hi-Fi Rush because that's my big thing here. Creative freedom is like you did something great, fantastic. We got you back 100%. Oh, by next year, get the hell out. We don't want you.
At the moment, I go back to my main point is that at the moment it is expensive to create games. Games aren't as profitable as they are, as they have been in previous years. People can't afford games as much anymore.
No.
And when you take into account things like the idea of Xbox Game Pass, Sony's PlayStation Plus thing that are requirements to just play the basic stuff online, or just even have access to the games now. Even to the single-player games that go, oh, well, you're not connected to the internet, so you can't play. Those type of decisions have destroyed gaming. And people can't just go out, buy a game, and play it anymore. Those days are over. And the entire industry in itself keeps spending more, but game prices are still sitting here. So they have to do the DLC and season passes to get it back up to here. And even then, they're only getting to about here. Unfortunately, cost means that you have to slash money from somewhere to get the budgets. And if a studio is just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, I'm sorry, they're going to be on the chopping block. It just so happens that these were the ones that were on the chopping block this time. There will be another studio in a month's time, in 2 weeks' time, 6 months' time, whatever. There'll be more companies on the chopping blocks as companies that spent big trying to save a lot of these companies. Because, to be honest, Bethesda, especially like Arcane Studios and stuff like that, they're on the verge of closing many years back. Not even 5 years ago. They're on the verge of closing because they couldn't keep up with the production costs. Microsoft bought them, gave them the budgets. Now they're not making the return on the profit. Sorry. That's a bad investment, so we've got to cut our ties.
Yeah, that's another way to look at the situation as well. You bring up a valid point, and people forget that there was a post on Reset Era the other day that somebody was saying gaming is not expensive, and I laughed. I wasn't going to comment on because I was like, you're telling me gaming is not expensive? Like, where are you from, bro?
It'd probably be somebody that's pulling in 100K a year or something like that.
I mean, your PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, $600. Your Xbox Series X, $500. You play PC gaming. Even if you buy a Steam Deck, $400, $500, $600. Gaming's expensive. Not talking about games or controllers or the online services.
To just build a basic PC these days costs nearly $2,000.
Well, I won't go that far.
Build a basic. Well, okay, I may be putting it Australian pricing.
Right.
We're looking at about $2,000 to $3,000 for a decent gaming rig. And you've helped me with mine over the last couple of years. The graphics cards these days, they're not cheap. But if you look at the console, consoles $500-$600 for a console.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you're paying your subscription fees for both consoles. So if you own an Xbox and a PlayStation and even a Switch, like most of us here at the Other Haven do,
and that's the shitty thing.
That's three consoles that you're shelling out for. That's three separate subscriptions. Three subscriptions that you're doing. Plus, anything you want to get on Steam, you have to buy directly through Steam.
Think about that. God,
gaming is not cheap, people.
Stuff you got to think about there. If you have a Switch and you want online saves, you have to subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online. You have to. I think you have to subscribe to PlayStation Network if you want more than the minuscule amount of saves you get. The only decent one, I think, is Xbox. Well,
Xbox and
PC. And PC because it's free online saves, free online.
Xbox does do cloud saves for free. That is not a part of any paid service. But even then, you take a look at how much it costs for a game these days. Like you guys, like I know Americans, like you pay anywhere between $60-$80 for a basic edition of a game. Then you've got $100 plus for a deluxe edition. Then you got $130 plus for the Extreme Multi Universal Championship Edition. Gaming is that's another topic for another day. But the thing is, gaming is not cheap. To produce games, to buy games, to play games, it is no longer cheap. Like I saw videos the other day, and this has been a big thing, and another topic I'd love to tackle another day, is that retro gaming is becoming a big thing now, like bigger than it ever has been. Because guess what? When you went and you bought the game, you got the whole game.
Oh man!
No online requirements, no subscription passes, no nothing.
This is old man yelling at the cloud. Now I will say,
it's not, Keith. No, it's not old man yelling at the cloud.
You're an old man and you're yelling.
I understand that. I'm doing that because you blocked me off, trying to piss me off like you do. But no, actually, it's a lot of streamers online are moving to retro gaming because they're getting sick of the nickel and dime BS that the companies are doing to try and push profit. Retro gaming is a huge thing now because people are getting sick of the way games are going. And that's on the business side, that's on the profitability side, that's also on the creative side, because don't get me started on DEI bullshit.
Isn't that a bad thing, though? Because it kills creativity. It kills the fact that people... Look, let's be honest.
It sends a message. And that's the thing that people want to try and do, is they want to send a message to these companies going, we're sick of the way you're treating us. We're sick of the way that you're stifling creativity because you have a studio that puts out a great game like Hi-Fi Rush, then you shut them down. We want the creatives to stay. We want people to be creative. That's why indie gaming is getting bigger and bigger now, because that's where all the creatives are going.
Oh my God, thank God it is.
Hades 2's just come out as of this recording.
No Rest for the Wicked. Oh my God.
No Rest for the Wicked. There are plenty of very creative independent games out there, and that they are priced decently that people will buy them. That's why independent gaming is starting to shoot up in popularity as well. People are turning away from AAA developers because the money is too much. The cost to buy the game, then your subscription service, then your battle pass, then your DLC, then your season pass, and your all the stuff that need to get a complete game, which your your $70 game turns into a $250 game because of all the DLC, season passes, and battle passes that you're required to buy.
Did we talk about that a couple of shows ago? About
I think we did.
How much pain in the ass that is, and it's not sustainable. It's just not.
Yep.
We're going to get to a point where these companies are like, we want your money. And we're going to go, bro.
And then
we got no money.
Yeah, well, that's it. And then there's the other part of the whole thing too, is that people on the creative side are just getting sick of the way that certain narratives and presentations are being shoved down people's throats. Once again, I hate to bring up that the company, but the Sweet Baby Inc. fiasco. That has exposed a huge part of why people are turning away from AAA games. And if people aren't buying the AAA games, they're not making a profit. Therefore, the company goes, hey, this isn't profitable, so we're going to shut the studio down. People are like, why are you doing that, you stupid fuck? Listen to the reasons why we're not buying your shit.
Do you think that...
I try not to.
Do you think that if games weren't as expensive as they are, if it didn't cost as much to make a game, do you think that this is the backbone of why gaming in general is having a major issue? I think it is.
Yes, it is a big part of it, is the production costs. And to be honest, I'm wondering why those production costs have gone up. Like, what is pushing that up besides, power, the power expenditure, rents on buildings, stuff like that, which has obviously gone up because we're in the middle of the world. We're in we don't call it a recession, but it is a worldwide recession.
Who the hell doesn't call it a recession? They'd be a fool to say it's not.
Most governments at this point, they're avoiding the R word because it costs them votes.
Is it the hard R word?
Yeah, that's the hard R word I'm against. But yeah, like with the thing with production costs and that, like, I don't understand why it is costing so much, because according to a lot of developers, a lot of the engines and stuff that they use are so easy to work with in the program that I'm wondering why, like, games are coming out quicker as well. Like, the time frame from announcement development done is shorter. So I'm wondering where all this extra cost is coming from, and the only thing I could probably think of is, management's pay packets.
Oh, that's not. Oh, no. You know how I am about management. Management never gets affected in this shit. So now you got me pissed off. Management never gets affected. Never, ever gets affected in this crap. It's the developers. It's the art people. It's the audio engineers.
It's the people who actually do the work.
Game. They get fucked in the end.
Yep.
And they lose their livelihood.
They get fired, and the managers just get shuffled off onto another studio and continue collecting a paycheck.
But hey, this is the best generation in gaming so far. My ass.
Bullshit.
Stop saying that. Please stop saying that. This is terrible.
Sorry, it's not.
2024 is already worse than 2023.
Mm-hmm.
From the get-go, we get Microsoft going, we're laying off 1,900 people. Sorry, what?
This has been the biggest. This year has been one of the biggest year for layoffs than it has in the past 20 years. And you're going, oh, this is the greatest era. This is the greatest era in gaming. No, it's not. This isn't the greatest era. This is the most greediest era in gaming.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You want the greatest era in gaming? Look back at like the era of the original Xbox and the PS2. That my friends. Old man yelling at clouds now. That was the greatest year in gaming. Greatest era in gaming was back then.
When people say that, it's because they see all these great games coming out. And to be honest, there's two sides to this. And I'm looking at the clock to know we don't have a lot of time. Mm-hmm. There are people who aren't in tune to what's happening in this industry, and they just play games. And sometimes I wish I was one of those people because I wouldn't be dealing with this and getting pissed off and getting frustrated.
And then you have people like yourself and myself who not only look deeper into the gaming side of things, but also like myself, I have a business management degree. I have a low-end accounting degree. I know how to run a business. I have the background. I know how to look at numbers. I know how to see when something's profitable, when something's not. And it frustrates me because I can't look at gaming in the same way anymore. Because all I see is when this stuff happens, I'm like, okay, business mind activate. And I go through what would be the causes. A lot of people don't think of things as a business. They're like, oh, as long as they put out the games, I'm happy. I wish I could be that stupid. I wish I could be Unga Bunga, game's good.
Hey, as long as they put out, the Evil Within for me,
this 5-head is here for a reason, guys.
If they just made Evil Within 3, I'd be happy. Oh, but wait, that's never going to happen now.
That's never going to happen now, and it was never going to happen anyway because Shinji Mikami hates the number 3 just as much as Gabe Newell does.
But he's not with the company anymore. Remember, he left. He was like, "I'm done." After that happened, he's
that was it. He has that habit. Shinji Mikami has that habit because I think he did the same on Resident Evil.
Yes.
Like he did Resident Evil 1 and 2 and went, see ya, I'm out. He went up somewhere else. And then he put out Evil Within 1 and 2 and then just went, see ya, I'm done. It's like, what have you got against the number 3? Like, my dude, you are one of the best horror guys in the business. Please give us an actual long-running series more than just 2 entries, okay?
But getting back to this, and again, for people who think I'm just frustrated because they closed down studios, it's not because they just closed down studios. It's not because it's Xbox. What's that?
They've put thousands out of work.
That's what pisses me off.
Families that have gone down to either a single income or if they're a single income family to no income whatsoever. People's livelihoods get upended when a studio closes. And at the moment, it's getting harder and harder for anybody to find work in any field.
And that's what upsets me. You've got people who either get laid off from a company or leave a company to go to another company to only have the same thing happen to them over again. And this just keeps happening. The gaming industry is in a flux, and I don't see it getting any better. People are frustrated. It's like, why do you hone your skills, become a game developer, and go, I want to be a game developer? When you see this happens, and it's like, well, no, I'm going to stop.
A lot of it is because they have passion,
exactly,
for what they want to do.
Well,
it's the same reason. It's the same reason. Well, that's the unfortunate thing. That's the unfortunate thing, and that's the risk you take by following a passion.
It's BS. It's frustrating.
I followed my passion to become a wrestler. I became a wrestler. It wasn't putting food on the table, but I enjoyed what I did.
I work in IT and I make money and it's driving me crazy. See all this gray hair?
Yeah. See, there you go. See, you're not following your passion.
It's not my passion. It is literally not my passion. No, it's not.
Not follow. You don't follow your passion, and you put food on the table. You follow your passion. Well, then join the unemployment line.
It sucks. It really sucks. But yeah, we'll be following this a bit more. We just wanted to give you a rundown on what exactly is happening and give you guys our opinions on that. I wrote an article about the Xbox thing because I was very frustrated. But Karl was like, we need to do a podcast, Keith, because I need to know how you feel. I feel pissed off.
Angry Keith brings in the views.
Angry Keith does a great writing. You should read it. I do better work when I'm mad.
Don't we all?
But that's it.
Because when we get mad, we're passionable.
This is true. But
see.
My buddy's got to run. I don't want to keep him too long. So thanks for checking out this bite-sized episode of Spectator Mode Podcast. Always, you can find it on YouTube. Please check it out on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel. Amazon Podcast. Wow, can't talk. Lose my voice again. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Buzzsprout, and wherever else you find great gaming podcasts. Like this one. This is a great gaming podcast. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you had some feedback. And if you do, please comment on the YouTube video. All right, Karl, you can leave now. Stop shooting me. See you, folks.